You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who doesn't have a friend or family member whose life has been touched by amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, otherwise known as ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. The walk to End ALS is a month away. Melissa Van Tuyl, now is the time to start the fundraising though, right?
That's right, that's right. It's hard-pressed right now.
This walk is a national walk. $1.9 million, that's the national goal?
That's our province-wide goal. We
goal.
have 20 walks that kick off on June 3rd. June is ALS Awareness Month. And our first walk, which one of them is in Niagara, is kicking off our month-long walks.
So June 3rd, again at the Grantham Lions Club, the end of Niagara Street at Lakeshore Road. Tell me what's happening that day.
That's right. It's a community event. It's a great day to come out with your family. We have a beautiful walk along the canal. We walk 5 kilometers. There's music, there's entertainment, and it's just a great time for our community to be together and raise awareness. You
and I have talked a lot over the last couple of years, and I've had a few close friends whose lives have been interrupted by this disease, and in some cases their lives have been ended by this disease. It commonly is like a death sentence.
It is a terminal illness. There is no cure, and presently we only have a few therapies available. 4 to 5 people die within 5 years of diagnosis. So yes, it's a harsh disease to
The prevalence in Canada, how many people have this disease? How often are people diagnosed with it?
Currently there's about 3,000 Canadians, and about each day you have 1 to 2 persons being diagnosed by clinics.
It affects the whole family as well, right? Because it comes on so rapidly, and the changes in what a person can and can't do happen so rapidly.
You're right. We call it a family disease. It affects everything. So it slowly paralyzes you. It takes away the ability to walk, talk, swallow, and eventually breathe. So everything is affected. If you have young families, you're not able to work. So the financial impact is huge with this disease.
Do you have a goal, fundraising goal for the local walk?
That's right. Niagara's goal is 115. We're presently sitting at about 25. We've been very fortunate for years after years that Niagara is very successful. We have a lovely community, and we're hoping to reach that goal this year.
How are those funds distributed? How are they used?
So 60% go back into community services, so for equipment and tangible items for people that need it, living with the disease, and 40% goes back into research.
So when you talk about help in the community, what are the kinds of things that the ALS Society offers here in Niagara?
So in Niagara, myself, I am a community lead, so I work with families upon diagnosis, and I stay with them throughout the duration of the disease. We help navigate the healthcare, we do education, support, we make sure they have all the equipment. We work with a variety of healthcare providers throughout this disease to make sure that not only mentally, emotionally, and physically, that you're looked after.
There's a lot of mental toll, both on the patient and on the family.
Oh, absolutely. Caregiver burnout is huge. I mean, we are very lucky that we have a good healthcare system, but it's a progressive disease. Your needs change very quickly. So oftentimes the caregiver is thrusted into a caregiving role. So it's exhausting. So we try to alleviate any sort of stress for the family.
This is a disease that I think typically people thought it only affected men. But that's not true.
No, it's not true. It's not biased, right? So women and men, and people are now calling it the rare common disease as more people are being diagnosed daily with this.
Age groups?
At one time it was called the retirement disease, so you would see primarily 65 and up, but now we're seeing people in their 30s and 40s being diagnosed.
On the research end of things, are there some therapies that are under study right now and maybe some trials?
Absolutely. There's a lot of new therapies that are coming down the pipe. ALS Canada is, very prevalent in Canada for doing ALS research. There is a lot of therapies, but with therapies, there's a lot of barriers in access to therapies. It's very time consuming to have new drugs introduced into our community. So ALS Canada not only focuses on research, but also cutting down barriers and red tape to therapies.
And a lot of those barriers are financial barriers as well. These therapies are not always covered.
That's right. They can be very costly, and they're very time consuming to be approved by Health Canada. And what happens is, unfortunately, our community doesn't have the time. So we're working effortlessly in all areas.
June 3rd, 9 a.m. for registration?
That's right, 9 a.m. for registration. Our walk kicks off at 10. It's going to be a great day. We have music. Hopefully the sun is shining, and I encourage everyone to come out and just raise awareness and meet some really great people.
Melissa, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.